Hello everyone, welcome to Tom's Family Worship. I'm glad you decided to join me today. Today's an off day. I usually release my episodes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And today's a little bit different. It's not actually an episode. Last night when I was thinking about yesterday's episode, a few things came to mind and I wanted to share them with you. I'm Tom and this is Tom's Family Worship. Ordinarily, I aim for about 7 minutes with these podcasts. If it's a little under, a little over, that's fine. Yesterday's episode was getting around 10 minutes, and so I was wrapping it up kind of quickly. As I was thinking about it, I realized there were a few really powerful messages in that story that we didn't have time to explore. So this episode is an addendum to yesterday's. If you haven't listened to yesterday's episode yet, you should pause this one and go listen to it. It is called Faole Part 1, A Changed Life. In yesterday's story, we saw how a guy went from being a murderer to being kind and helpful and cheerful and trustworthy. The first thing that stood out to me is that Faole started changing his character to be more like God even before he knew who God was. We often talk about how Jesus changes us when we invite him in, but did you know that the Bible also tells us that God gives everyone his Holy Spirit, and he works in our hearts like a conscience. He is our conscience. And when we listen to him, that is a response of faith, as much as inviting Jesus into your heart. Faole's story reminds me of what Paul says in Romans 5:8, that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Faole had no interest in God or in subscribing to God's morals. That means he did not feel like he had to live the way that God asks us to live. But the Holy Spirit was nudging him a little at a time to make decisions that were in line with who God is. What are some ways that you notice that God leads you, maybe indirectly like this? Have you seen how through his Holy Spirit in your conscience, you have grown more and more like him? The second thing that stood out to me in this story is how the way that Faole acted was like a train, in the sense that one action led to another, which led to another, and it was just chugging along in a certain direction. After he killed his first person, he felt this bloodlust where he just was invigorated by killing, and it led him to kill more and more. But the train went the other direction as well. He decided not to run away so that his brother wouldn't be harmed. He decided to be honest about the crimes that he had committed. He even invited his younger brother to serve out a sentence that he lawfully needed to. All of these little decisions, these good decisions, would build on each other and change Faole's character. The little decisions that you make will make a difference in the direction that you go. You might think, it doesn't matter what I do in this instance because it's just a small thing. It won't matter. And maybe it's true. That one thing might not matter, but that one decision snowballs into the next and into the next. So think about who you want to be and make decisions based on that. Are there any lessons you got from this story that I didn't bring out? I'd love to hear from you. You can email me at pastortomgearing@gmail.com, or you can message me on social media. Thank you for joining me on this odd day off, and we'll see you tomorrow on Tom's Family Worship.